Assalamu alaikum, everyone. In this episode, we had an awesome chat with Ahmed Alqadasi, a mechatronics graduate student, sharing his inspiring journey from a foreign student in Malaysia to overcoming challenges in an unfamiliar major. We explore the timeless dilemma of major changes, touching on optimism, open-mindedness, and the impact of childhood experiences on adaptability. Also, side note, Hajar's mic got cut off midway, so we may not hear her throughout the rest of the episode. So join us in this episode to know more. And as always, sit back, relax, and enjoy.
You are now listening to the Castronics podcast.
Hosted by MBS, Maryam and Hajar.
Weekly episodes are coming up, so stay tuned.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome back to the Castronics podcast. Today we're joined by a very interesting guest, and it's going to be story time. So it's going to be a very different episode from what we've seen before, because we're going to be touching on a few topics that hopefully can resonate with a lot of you guys. So before we dive into the topic, let's welcome Ahmed Alqadasi. Hi, Ahmed.
Hi, how are you guys?
Virtual
nice
clapping.
to be finally here.
Hope you're doing good.
Yep, I'm doing good. I'm very excited because we tried to do this a week ago. It didn't work, so now I'm very excited to do it finally.
We've been scheduling this episode for weeks now?
For so long.
True.
Alhamdulillah, finally happened.
And it's my bad, kind of my bad. I didn't communicate as I should. I'm kind of too busy with work, freelancing work. It's not stable at all.
It's fine. I mean, our schedules were not matching anyways, so
Yeah, I think it's all our faults.
neither of both
It's no
ends
one's
could.
fault. It's all
okay.
good.
Just to kick things off, Ahmed, please introduce yourself to the listeners, the people who might not know who you are.
Well, my name is Ahmed Alqadasi. My non-Arab friends call me Q because it's hard to say Qadasi. I don't know, for some reason. I'm 24 years old and I studied mechatronics, which is electrical engineering in UTM. I think I'm just, as any other normal human being. It's just that I do think a lot about everything I do, about everything I go through. And I think it kind of gives you the feeling of understanding that you kind of understand what's going on, around you. You kind of have so many different observations about the world, about people, and it's actually very helpful.
I see.
So you're a fellow overthinker, huh?
Not to the bad line.
Yeah, not in the bad way, but you think a lot.
Yeah. But it's just that you keep thinking like, why did that guy or that girl did this? Why did that happen to me? How did I feel that way? So that's why we're kind of about to talk about our mental health as well. We're going to talk about how to deal with life, how to deal with your studies. So I believe this episode would be for everyone, because the other episodes would be, directed only for I don't know, let's say the business, directed to the studies, directed to the funds and going out and so on.
Yes, indeed. That's a very nice introduction. So right before we start, can you just go through your background? Where were you before going to uni? And how did you come about finding UTM? And so we can move on from there.
Okay, so I'm gonna start from my high school days. I wasn't that well-known guy, famous guy, as they say, but I had many different communities. I had...
Just to surge in, by the way, if you guys don't know Ahmed, he's such a nice individual and everybody knows him, especially in our faculty. So yeah, there you go. I just wanted to put it out there.
I don't know you too. I only know that I worked with you before.
Yeah. No, thanks. I appreciate that.
You've probably read his name somewhere. So there you go.
I
know the dude, but I don't know him,
Anyways.
Okay. Yeah, you'll get to know, You'll get to know me now, inshallah. Well, yeah, as I said, before, in my high school days, I was having different communities. I used to go to the mosque, the tahfidh, and I used...
That's so nice.
MashaAllah, tabarakallah.
MashaAllah.
Thank you. I was like, what's so nice about this?
No, because Yeah, we never went to the mosque. The sheikh came to us, you know.
Well, I mean,
You had
something
it differently.
happened about the mosque then. You had tahfidh in your house. This is good.
Yeah, but like going to the mosque, I think is nicer. Anyways, continue.
Yeah.
Just a side question. Did you finish the memorization of Quran or?
Alhamdulillah, but I don't like to mention it because people would be,
MashaAllah,
judging
Tabarak
you.
Ar-Rahman.
Would be, yeah.
People say, MashaAllah, Tabarak Ar-Rahman, for God's sake.
Mashallah, mashallah, mashallah.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you, guys.
Allahumma barik.
Yeah, as I said, I had different communities. I used to go to the mosque, tahfidh. I used to go to school. I used to have the street, the neighbors community. And I used to go work with my father. So this kind of gave me different perspectives of life. Kind of gave me a wider view of how things go in different places. And if you would be surprised, but every weekend I'll be having like 3-4 hangouts. My friends here will be going there, and my friends from school will be eating there, and I'll be having to choose because my parents weren't as they were not letting me go everywhere. So I remember my father telling me, just choose one, and I'm like, come on, it's a whole weekend. We have 3 days or 2 days. Yeah, Muhammad.
Did he say choose one friend group or?
No, not choose one friend group, but choose one day to go out.
Oh, I see.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sadly, a lot of the parents have this mentality by which they say that if you go out today, you cannot go out tomorrow. I don't know what's that logic behind, but yeah, a lot of people think like that.
yes.
Well, I believe there's a lot of things we don't understand, but as you grow up, you start to understand. I mean, not including this, to be honest, because I believe having different communities, going out more, doing more activities will give you a better personality. You will become a better person.
Yes. I like the fact that you touched upon that because I actually met someone in the university, and so he's a Malaysian, and he told me, why do most people who come from the Middle East or who lived in the Middle East, when you see them in the uni, when they first come, they're so introvert. The word in Arabic that they use is baytuti. Like they're too attached to their home. They don't like to mingle with people, and that's got to do a lot with the upbringing. I think a lot of us have that similar kind of environment in which we didn't have the opportunity to go out as much as we could at uni, for example. And I think that does shape your personality. In a lot of ways. And as you mentioned,
I feel like, I don't know if we can say that, but like I feel like that it goes for all the people who lived in the Gulf. Not so for example, in Egypt, the people who came from Egypt are not like that, which is very weird. The Egyptians who came from Egypt are very like social and very open and outgoing from the beginning or from the start. And then Egyptians who came from the Gulf countries, especially Saudi, no offense to anyone, they're always like closed off, and then they get exposed to everything.
Well,
and,
yeah.
like, they become so open, and then they start to slowly like they go from one extent to the other, and then they start to balance. It's awesome to see.
You have to understand that in Egypt, it's like more of a social community. In Saudi Arabia, it's different because we don't mingle much with Saudi Arabians, and most of the time, I live in Kuwait. What the hell I'm talking about? In Kuwait, okay, my neighbors are like.
We know you live in Kuwait.
Diverse, okay, so, I don't really we as a family, we don't really mingle with other people most of the time, so. My parents are usually introverts aslan. So for me, I turned out to be an introvert. Actually, it's half introvert, extrovert, But we didn't mingle around with other people. So when I came here, it was weird for me to be social. Because who are these people?
Same.
I was
going out with friends.
Yes.
So
yes.
weird.
It was so weird. It was literally a red flag for me. what do you mean you're going out? What do you mean you're staying out until like Maghrib? Like, what? That was like an offense, you know? So yeah,
Yes, indeed.
it was hard. It was hard at first.
Now, if you actually think through everything about this, it's not about where do you come from. It's not about your nationality or anything like that. It's all about your community. If you are living in a neighbor, I mean, I live in Saudi, and our neighbors are, you know, the lively neighbors. You would, as soon as you leave the house, you will see kids playing football in front of you. You will see a lot of people talking, having fun, enjoying. And if you go to, I mean, for me, when I went to work with my dad, I will have to talk with different people all the time. Strangers, we call them strangers, right? But you will have to talk to them all the time. When you go to mosque, when you go to school, it's all about how many situations you get into and how many situations you handle, how many times you get upset, how many times you get jealous, how many times you get sad about something. And the more you deal with these situations, the more you get comfortable with living around people, with dealing with people. It's not only about the nationality.
Oh no, it's not the nationality. It's just the people I got exposed to. That's like my conclusion about the people around me.
Yeah.
So we can say that you already had that social exposure prior to going to university.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah. And I'm actually very grateful. I used to think, why would my dad take me to work every weekend or like every free day? Like, why would I go? I'm not doing anything, you know, I'm not helping with anything. And I still remember even in the Hajj season, you know, in Saudi, there's the Hajj season. All people come from all over the world to buy. And he used to have a little English, like, you know, hi, how are you? That's it, right? So when we had some customers, my dad would just push me. He's like, go talk to them. And they're French, you know, they're not even speaking English. And they'll be like, how are you? And I'm like, good. I want buy the blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I'll have to deal with this in English. And he used to be so bad at it. But the more situations you get into it, the more comfortable you get. Yes, Haja.
You know, my dad actually he was the one who encouraged me to like go and talk to like people, because I used to be so closed to the point where like I would not talk to anyone. I would let my dad do the work. And then my dad was like, go to the cashier and like, you know, like pay for your food, or like go to like the shopping assistant in the, I don't know what's it called, employee in in like, you know, fashion stores. Like go up to them and ask them for something. Like, don't ask me. Why are you asking me? They're not gonna eat you, you know.
Yeah,
but
true.
This word stuck with me so much. So I was like, every time, like, you know, I get scared of going up to someone and asking about something, I remember these words, literally.
Yeah, and that's why I said at the beginning to Muhammad, you know, we don't understand why our parents would do this or that when we're young. But then when we grow up, you know, when I grow up and when I came here, I was like, wow, there's a lot of people around me that don't know how to handle situations, you know. It's just simple situation. But, you know, you got through it.
Sorry, it's now that you realize why your dad were pushing you towards people, just like the way he did. And one thing that I realized, for example, because my dad makes this remark to my brothers like all the time, and he would be like, "Why you're asking me?" You know, just as Hajar said, you know, when they go to the shop and they start to ask my dad. My dad's like, "Don't you have people around here to help you? Just go and ask them." And one thing that I realized after coming to university, because I used to be an introvert as well, and then as I became an extrovert, I just realized that they're just normal people, just like me, the same way that I have fears. The same way that I'm afraid to go talk to them, they might be also afraid to talk to me. So I better be the first one to make the first step and go ahead and socialize with people.
Yeah, definitely agree. You know, there's a saying that I believe in, that we are babies. You know, in any different new thing we do, we are babies. If you're not used to talk to people, if you're not used to do speeches, if you're not used to if you don't know how to swim, if you don't know how to play football or anything, you're still a baby. You have to start. You have to try so you can grow up from that baby level. And this is what makes us scared, because we think, well, I'm 24, I'm 20, I'm 19, and I still don't know how to talk with people. Come on, I can, and then you go, you try, and then you miss it out, and then you feel sad about it. You feel like, why? What's wrong with me? Maybe I'm not supposed to do that. Maybe that was wrong. Maybe the guy is wrong. Maybe the situation was wrong. But it's just okay, because you just started to do this, and you're gonna grow from there.
And a lot of it's got to do with the mindset. And, sometimes you got to have it. Sometimes you got to have it wrong to have it right afterwards. I can't, for example, if I'm not used to speak to people, I can't just come up to a random stranger and start speaking like a big journalist, with such an eloquence. That doesn't happen. You're obviously going to mess up the first time, but then that's how you learn. And that's everyone learned, to be honest. So moving on from there, so now we've seen the kind of background you came from, a very social background per se. And so we wanted to know, for example, why did you choose your major? Like, why did you go into mechatronics? Why did you head to Malaysia, first of all? Questions that people might be asking themselves right now.
Yeah, true. I still remember the day I went to school, and I went to my teachers after I graduated from high school. And I was like, what do you think, should I take? And should I take physics or like chemics, anything like that? What major should I choose? And they were like, you're good at physics. Maybe you should take anything in engineering, physics, engineering, anything about that. They said I should choose anything electrical because it's the future of the world, as they said. And I was so excited about that. I went back home and I was like, so that day I went back home so excited. I was like, damn, electrical, I'm gonna be the best engineer in the world. And I was searching universities and majors and different things. And weirdly enough, I was feeling that I'm special, that I chose mechatronics engineering in UTM. I was like, wow, this is special. And then when I came here to UTM, you just see everyone around you taking the same course, most of the students here taking mechatronics. And I didn't know why, but, it just didn't feel special anymore. And this was the first phase in my life. In my life here as a student, I think for me, I put it in 3 phases. When I first came, or let's say the first year, and then the second and third year, and then the last year. So these are the 3 main phases of me being a student here in UTM.
Okay, so walk us through your journey as a foreign student in Malaysia that had a background just like yours, because I think a lot of people can resonate with you, but then there might be some twists in your story. But how did you find life as a student in Malaysia, and did you actually enjoy it?
Everyone they have their own experience. So what's your experience?
Well, before I came here, I had that mindset, and I think it helped me a lot, that I don't want to have high expectations about everything, because the higher the expectations, the more you get hurt. So I was like, I'm gonna expect less from everyone, from everything. And I used to hear a lot about Malaysia, but when I came to Johor, I was like, really? JB? Is this Malaysia? This doesn't look like the Malaysia I heard about. But I was like, it's fine. I'm gonna enjoy it anyway. And I used to be super hopeful. excited, very sociable. I would talk to everyone would talk to me, and I'm okay with it. And that time you will see the different people, the different personalities, and you will start, noticing some differences between people. They say people coming from that country are more to be that way, and so on. And it was beautiful at the beginning. Even though I had some moments where I felt like maybe this is not for me. Maybe I shouldn't take this. Yeah.
Before we jump right into that, because that's actually the most important part that I wanted to address, or that we wanted to address, in fact. But the thing is, I know there were some kind of mixed feelings when it comes to coming to Malaysia, because now you had different shocks. You had culture shocks, you had the environmental shock, and you have the shock of studies. And I think a lot of us actually got fooled by the fact that we all chose mechatronics expecting that it was something that it was not.
Oh
For
my
example,
God, yes.
the fact that we all thought that mechatronics was, for example, more involved into a mechanical engineer, for example. And then to this day, as a graduate, I can tell you that you only study 3 or 2 subjects when it comes to mechanical engineering, which is not a lot.
Why did you have depressing expectations?
Me?
Yes, your expectations were like, I'm not gonna have high expectations so people don't like stab me in the back and whatever. Why?
No. It's
It sounds so sad.
no.
offense.
It doesn't sound sad to me. It sounds
It's
realistic.
like you gave up on people. Like usually everyone who comes to Malaysia, they're like hopeful and we're gonna meet people and we're gonna get exposed to a new culture and whatever. But you were like, oh, I'm not gonna have expectations about people. I won't let my expectations go up. I like it feels like you've been stabbed in the back before, so you're like, I'm not gonna have any expectations. So people do whatever they do. It feels negative, not optimistic, pessimistic. Yeah. I feel like you came to Malaysia in the opposite way of how like people come usually. People are not people, but for me, I was optimistic. I'm gonna get exposed to a new culture, get to know people, and it's like uni, so I'm gonna have like lifetime of friends. Like, yeah, I'm gonna have like an awesome life or whatever. And then you were like so pessimistic, or you were like, I'm not gonna have high expectations of people. I'm gonna keep my expectations solo, so no one like destroys them or whatever. And it's like, why?
No, I believe you heard it that way. But if you rewind what I said I wanted to have less expectations about everyone and everything. And I'm not, because I know myself. I'm super hopeful. I have super high expectations about everything and everyone. So it was a kind of, protecting my feelings, protecting myself from getting hurt, from getting crashed, So when I came here, I didn't have the expectations of people are evil, someone gonna stab me in the back. No, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It just, I had less expectations. It's not way worse, no expectations. It's just less.
Mariam, there is a difference. So I think I understand what you meant, but the way Ahmed was saying it is that he was not expecting bad from people. He just was not expecting too good of them. Mm-hmm. You see, he came from a level 0, not something negative, but just that, if you're not a good friend to me, it's fine. I didn't expect you to be my friend in the first place, but I don't expect you to kill me as well. You see,
it still sounds sad, but you do you. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
No.
It sounds very dark.
If you ask me,
I don't know. My example was very extreme, but I hope you get the point.
No. If you ask me, Mariam and Muhammad, when you're back home, when you're between your friends, your community, you got used to depend on them. You used to get help. You used to help. They're your friends, they're close friends. from different communities. You have your family, but when you come to Malaysia, you know that you're gonna meet new people, you know. So if you're back home, you're already having more expectations from everyone. But when you come to Malaysia, you can expect the same from new people, from strangers, right? This is what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's bad or negative. I'm just saying you have to get back to normal, you know, not too hopeful.
It sounds like that's what everyone's supposed to have, but I feel like I'm too optimistic. It's okay.
So when you listen to people, that you realize that your perception of reality might be skewed in some ways.
Oh, I
But that
know
was
it is.
interesting.
I know my perception of reality.
So you're aware that you have a natural
I'm
bias.
I'm aware. I'm not gonna stop it, but I'm aware. I accept
Yeah.
it. It's okay.
And this is one of the things I have to mention, that wherever you go, work, school, university, you'll have different people with different personalities, with different understanding, like Maryam and Muhammad. You know, they heard the same thing, and it came from the same mouth, but people just understand differently. And it's not bad, because people are raised differently. People came from different places and went through different experiences. So you have to keep that in mind, just so you can live a more comfortable, easy life.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, go.
Okay, so what you said is like true, because one thing I learned was that everyone has their own filter. So the input is the same, but the filter inside is different, so the output is different.
Exactly, yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, it sounds funny at the beginning, you know, when someone is saying, "Why are you thinking people is gonna stop you at the back?" And then the other one is like, "Oh, this is nice, this is healthy," you know? But this is life. This is life. You're gonna have to deal with different people, with different personalities, yeah. So for me, this was the first phase, you know. I'm coming with so much hope and everything, until I had a lot of moments of feeling that maybe I don't belong here.
We want to know about those moments. When did it start? How did it come about? And how did you do to manage with them? Because I think a lot of people do feel the same way, you know. Just before you start, I want to say my own story. Not to barge on anything, but I hope you can build on that. I remember when I first came, so we had that subject called Mathematical Engineering 1. And I hated this subject so much that it made me reconsider the fact that I wanted to pursue a career in mechatronics, for example. And I think a lot of people did have those same kind of standpoints, whereby they reconsider their entire studies and their entire being, you know, did I make the right choice? So when did it start for you, and how did you manage with it?
Well, I don't want to say it started from the foundation, but
you can say it. It's fine.
Yeah, I know. But you just see that people are looking at things in a different way, in a very different way. You know, doesn't mean that you're looking in a bad way, but it's just, you know, it's not as practical as them. It's not as easy as the way they see it. So I still remember until today that mathematics class, and I came to class and I was like, okay, let's focus. I have to do my best. Because I used to feel that at that time, I used to feel like, I go to class, but I start to pay attention. I try my best, but when I leave the class, I'm like, what did I learn today? That question. So that day I came and I was like, I'm gonna give it 100% focus. And when the lecturer started writing, I was looking at one of the symbols. I don't know what's the name. Maybe lambda. Maybe, I don't know. It's a mathematical thing, and I just zone out from there. I was like, is it supposed to be like that? Is it supposed to be written like that? Maybe that one is, he's writing more, maybe just because he's quick, maybe because he's used to write it like that. You know what? Maybe
Mary,
I
you wanted
should
to say something?
No. I'm asking about the symbol.
Yeah. So
It's not important.
yeah, exactly. We need to focus more about the moral of the story. So I was thinking that time. I was thinking that time. Maybe it's the way he write it. Maybe people would write it different. And then I start looking at my friend's note. I'm like, wait, they write it in a different way. And then I start looking at the book, like, how is this written? And I'm already taking 10 minutes. And then I look back at the lecture and he's already finishing the whole thing. And I'm like, whoa. Wait. I lost it. I was like, I need to focus, but I couldn't, because for me, I focus more on beauty, let's say, how things are written, how things are drawn, how things are attached, how things started. Is this the way it should be, or maybe this is their way to do it? But for my friends, it's just okay. This is how he did write it. This is how it's written. Done. So
No questions asked.
yeah, nothing, no questions, no thoughts, nothing. So from there, I started thinking like maybe I'm not used to take, I'm not used to think the way they do. Maybe I should change. No, it's still too early. It's too early to think like that. Just try your best. And
When was this?
foundation.
Okay, so from foundation, you already had the feeling that maybe you're not heading in the right direction.
Yeah, and at the same time, I used to when I study in my room, I would get bored. You try to study and understand what you learned today. You just get bored. You're like, I'm trying. I'm trying to push myself to do it.
But it's interesting that you say that because we can actually relate that back to what we first said in the beginning. You can't expect to have everything right from the first get-go. So you have to fail at first.
Yeah.
But at that time, I totally understand your feelings because at that time, you don't expect yourself to fail and you don't realize that that's part of the success. But then you can keep going on.
Especially when you didn't fail before. Like,
What?
especially when you've been, so like for me during school, like since 6th grade, I've been getting like, my grades were super high, alhamdulillah. And then during like when I started uni, my grades were like weirdly going down, and I'm like, how how does that happen? And people who I'm 100% sure were not like getting full marks during their like elementary, secondary, and high school years were getting like higher grades or almost the same as I did. And I'm like, how do you do that? And I think it's you being used to failing. Like, not failing, but like not having the expectations that you're always going to be the top. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you're always getting things, you're gonna always get things right. You're going to always get A pluses no matter what. You're never going to like lose marks. And then bam, uni comes and you're like, your first ever D plus. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, no. This is one of my suffers as well, because I used to be one of the best students in high school, and even before that. So after you come to university and you fail your first course, you're like, wow, I failed.
I'm a
failed.
failure.
Really, that feeling just destroys you.
So what I wanted to say is, so Ahmed, now that you, from that standpoint, you realized or you started to think that things were not going as you planned, how was your mental health at that time? And did you have people to back you up? Like, what was the reaction? Because I think, as per what you told me, after some time you started relating those stories to your parents. And how was your environment? Like, did people help you in that? How did you overcome that?
Well, the environment wasn't very supportive, to be honest, because your parents are, they're used to seeing your grades, the best grades, and then when you tell them you failed, they're like, you failed, you didn't get less grades or worse grades, you failed. Then this is a shock for them. They're your parents, right? They love you, and they want to support you, but they're still in shock. So I have to, try to understand them, that it's okay. I'm gonna try, and I'm a stubborn human being, by the way. If I didn't succeed the first time, I'll try 1,000 times, unless I just give up. But I keep trying too much, and this is, I think, the end of the first phase. I was trying too much, and I used to fail a lot of times, or maybe get way less than I expected, which ended up in a very bad way. I don't want to say depression, but it started from there, slowly.
So your parents were not supportive of you, or they had a reaction that you did not expect?
No, I believe, your parents would love you no matter what. But they're just not used to the fact that you went through failing, that you went through this or that. And I still remember, I think the second year, I got, for the first time, I got my GPA 3.92. It's like all the subjects are A's, and one of them was A minus. You're gonna feel bad about me now. I talked to them. I called them. For the first time, I'm calling my parents, and I'm like, guess what I got, And they're like, what? and I said I got 3.92, and then I remember it was a video call. My mom and my dad was together, and then my dad opened the calculator, and then it was 3.92 multiplied by 25. So this is like 97 point right? And I said, yeah. And then he said, so where did the 3% go?
Ouch.
Yeah, and that time I was like, speechless.
So you left the entire 97 and you just decided to focus on 3%?
Yeah. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them because, they're used to see success everywhere, and they expected you to go there and do it anyway. But it just didn't work. You tried hard, it didn't work. So that time I was just speechless. I didn't know what to say. I just got along. I ended the call, and then I was like, wow, so they expect more than that. I can do more. I can do better. This is my best, and I'm trying too hard. And maybe, that semester I had easy subjects or something. But from there, I started thinking about what should I do. If I'm not comfortable doing this, if I'm not meeting my parents' expectations, should I just ignore them? Should I just try to do better? Should I change what I'm doing? And you just get drowned in these thoughts. You keep thinking too much. Until you reach that point where you're like, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop.
So when did you feel like you wanted to stop? At what phase? So the degree is 4 years. When did you feel that?
In my second phase, it was, I think, the second semester, I think. Yeah.
I have a fun question. Is it stop the studying or stop the negativity, like the negative thoughts?
No, stop the whole thing. Stop studying, trying to do something else, completely something else.
Did you want to study a different major, or did you want to stop studying altogether?
Well, this been building up for me from all the situations, from all the moments I had, because I remember so many people I invited to my room to have lunch, to do whatever. They will enter the room and they'll be like, wow, are you actually an engineer? Because your room is drawn everywhere. I mean, not this room, obviously. Another one. There are drawings, sketches. There are a lot of, creative things. Are you actually an engineer? Because I never seen anyone like this. And then I'll start talking about, I know it's kind of not my thing, but I'm trying to graduate, blah, 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 blah. and then you will get different advices. One of them told me that I need to try to do side hustle, maybe freelancing, because I used to love drawing, sketching. I used to love multimedia. I used to love recording. I used to love photography, videography. I used to love different things, anything that have creativity, anything that have, the space that you want to be creative, that you can translate your thoughts into something people can see. All of these things, used to have all my attention. And that's how I was thinking I should change. This is not for me. And at least 5 times I was already having my phone, and I'm like, I'm gonna call them. I'm gonna say I can't do it. After that, I'll deal with it. I don't know what to do after that, but I just do it. I'm gonna call them. I'm gonna say, I'm sorry, I cannot do this. I tried, I cannot. I'm gonna deal with it after that. At least 5 times. But every time you try to do it, you have that fear of what's next.
Guilt?
No, not guilt. You kind of pass that phase, the guilt phase. You want to please your parents or anyone else at the beginning. You try, and you're like, I'll try to please myself first, and you just pass the thought about people, other people. So after that, I was like, having the fear. What if I actually told them now? What would I do next? They're the ones supporting me. They're the ones paying with the fees, right? What am I going to do next? So that kind of thoughts just, was so hard to manage, was so hard to understand. Because you don't have anyone else but them. And this is why, I think this is the main reason I just, continued. And I graduated, alhamdulillah. But this is the main thing. Yeah. And I remember, even telling them about it. I was like, what do you think about studying this? What do you think about studying that? What do you think about changing the major? And you kind of testing the water. Like, how would they react? What would they say? And it's not positive at all. So you just have to get along with it.
So they've never been open to you changing your major, for example, or anything like that?
No. And I understand that because we're not as comfortable financially as other people. So that this is your shot. Use it right. And I'm not sure if there's some people are going through the same, but if you're going through the same, if you're having kind of the same situation that you got into something, but you need to continue even though you don't like it, it's gonna be hard. This is one thing you have to keep in mind. To be realistic, Mariam, to be realistic, not to be negative, and to blame yourself less, to feel more comfortable about not doing everything right, to feel comfortable about not being the best.
So if I understand, you kept going because of your parents' kind of desire for you to pursue this degree. But now my question is, you being where you are right now as a graduate, if you could go back in time, would you still leave your studies for something else, or would you have still continued to please your parents as you did, even though that's not what you wanted to continue in?
Well, I had some stories that used to back me up. I have one friend, still my friend. He was trying so hard to continue to graduate. He couldn't, and he just didn't continue. He started working, and then he started doing another side hustles, online teaching, and now, mashallah, tabarakallah. For me, this is one of the stories that would inspire me. Now he's already married. Yeah, now he's already married here. He collected the money himself. He kept working all day long, all weeks long. he made it. He's married, he's happy, he's comfortable financially, and I believe he's about to write his book now. Yeah. So not saying that you're gonna have a successful story, but you have to think about it from all different perspectives.
It's a very long thought process, because at the end of the day, it's a risk that you're taking. And I understand the fear of your parents when they say, for example, don't leave your studies, because they've been raised, or they've lived their lives saying that this is the stable kind of way to go about life, and many parents who've never experienced, I'm not going to say never, because I don't speak about your parents per se, because I understand that your dad, for example, is an entrepreneur, but a lot of parents, they don't understand that in life, sometimes you gotta get out of your comfort zone and not just follow the traditional way and the popular path to make it, because that's how life is. Sometimes you gotta be different. You gotta take risks to go about bigger things.
If you observe the way people living nowadays, you're not gonna call it a comfort zone. You're not gonna call it risky, because actually, a lot of people are making money out of freelancing, out of online work, out of social media. A lot of people, they're living. They're not just eating. They have the roof. They have somewhere to stay. Not they're actually living, traveling, going everywhere, having fun, just by working there. And when you see that, you realize that it's different now. It's different because our parents they were raised in a different community where you have to, as you said, to choose something stable, something safe. So for your parents, the way they think is that this is the safest way or the safest plan I'm gonna choose for my son, for my daughter, to be an engineer, to be this or that. But if you actually believe in yourself, if you believe that you have all it takes to change, then you might change. Because as the story of my friend, he had the same thoughts and he changed, and he made it. And you will have your parents denying everything. You will have your parents not being, happy about it. But as soon as you start making money, as soon as you start supporting,
everything change.
Yeah,
different stakes.
Yeah,
different level.
Yeah, because if you think about it, money, if life, everything in life works with money. Your rent, your food,
as they say,
your studies, everything.
As they say in Arabic, الكاش ينهي النقاش.
Exactly.
The cash ends the entire discussion. Maryam or Hajar, you wanted to say something?
Okay, so I have a fun question. Did you try reframing? So when you, going back to your story, when you found out that you can't stop because you will disappoint your parents, and you don't like this at all, you wanna leave. Did you try thinking in like a different perspective, like reframing, so like looking from a different frame, so to see the like the good side of it, so because you need to survive. So
for sure.
Do you know what I mean?
You have to, otherwise you won't make it. Otherwise you won't be mentally stable. You have to change the way you think about it. And as I told you, one of my friends advised me to just keep working on a side hustle, and just try to graduate with the least damages. This is what he said. Try to graduate with the least damages, because at the end you're going to graduate. You're gonna have your certificate. You have an engineering certificate, and you're having side hustle. You have another skills. So this is gonna be extra.
I wanted to add, when you spoke about side hustles, I recently read an article in which they were comparing or studying the fact that young people nowadays don't want to stay in stable jobs as much as they used to before in the past. And one of the main reasons is, they said, so this is their quote, because young people don't look for stable jobs anymore, but they look for skills that would make them hireable at all times. You know what I mean? So for example, let's say that I graduate as an engineer. So I have the qualifications for me to become, to be in a certain position or a certain role. However, on the side, for example, let's say that I master programming. It's just an example. It doesn't have to be related to engineering. But then now, from my own, out of my own self, I can work in any small contract or any sort of freelancing job that requires programming. And then I can make my own money from that. And for me, for a lot of young people, that's more important than having a stable job with a stable salary. Because they get to experience their potential way more in their freelancing. And that was a very interesting study that I thought that I could share with you guys.
Yeah, something I mentioned to my juniors in university, that all of you are going to graduate. Just imagine how many of you in this batch, let's say 50, 100, 300, 500, let's say 1,000. How many universities are in JB? How many universities are in Malaysia? How many universities are in the world? You're going to be one of 1 million?
Millions.
Yeah, and you're going to be proud. I got 4 CGPA. Okay, thank you. Next, what do you have more? Well, what else can you give me, Can you speak with people? Can you, I don't know, work on different things? Can you do different skills, It's not only your certificate that are going to give you the job and the money.
Yeah, there's so much more than just the degree. And that's something that people need to realize as time passes. Now people are more, or employers, let's say, if you want to get into a job, they're more focused on your adaptability or your capacity to adapt and your capacity to evolve with the current trends than what you just possess. Because nowadays everybody has a bachelor's degree, for example, in whatever field you want. So that's not a plus anymore. And I understand that, because when I look back at what your parents said, for example, they wanted you to continue your studies and have a bachelor's. And for them, I don't know if they realized what was after that, but maybe for them that was a symbol of success, whereby you saw it differently. You saw that now the world in which we're living in does not just require a bachelor's degree. You got to have something else on the side.
Yeah, true. I mean, it's not easy. It's not easy to understand your parents. It's not easy to deal with it. But you have to deal with different people, different generations, and you have to do what's best for you. For example, in my last year, we have the FYP, right? The final year project. And I was already decided. I already decided that I'm not gonna choose something hard, because I just want to graduate. That was my goal. Graduate with the least damages. And it chose something very easy. But it was, I think maybe the topic was interesting enough just so I can pass.
Actually, I attended your session because we had it at the same time.
Yeah.
And yours was pretty interesting, in fact. It was like a sort of helmet that used AI.
No,
that's kind of the description that I had.
No, it's helmet detection. It's a camera put in in the street, and then it will recognize these people are wearing helmets, these people are not. If they're not wearing helmet, there's gonna be a fine. This is simply the FYP, but it's not about the idea. It's not about how I did my FYP, because I didn't work that much. I'm not gonna lie, but the idea, the idea solves itself. The presentation and everything. So maybe for you it was like, wow, but for me it was 2 days work with the help of my friend.
Actually, if it can help anyone listening to this, if you're doing your FYP, don't focus on I'm talking to you, Mariam, by the way. So, but I think it's a bit too late for you because you're already halfway done with your first part. Yeah, so how do you listen to this? don't try to do something that's very complicated. Just find a solution to an existing problem.
Yeah. You have to focus on the problem. If we're gonna talk about the FYP, remember in our session we had a Chinese guy, and we have this idea about Chinese that they're just genius, right? So his FYP was something about the gas pump. I don't remember what was it about, but it was to be
Something complicated.
Yeah, fully automatic. You don't have to get out of the car and then go pay the money and then use the pump yourself. It's gonna be fully automatic.
Oh yes,
remember?
yes, I remember.
Yeah.
That was in robotics class.
Maybe, I'm not sure, but yeah, this was his FYP, and I still remember the FYP session. He was talking too much about how he did the FYP, and then the lecturer just told him, you've worked very hard, but I don't see any problem in this. Like, what's the problem? It was weird. It was weird because for me, I was in the same room at the same time. I just worked on my FYP for only 2 days with my friend, but I just did my best to present it the best way because it was an actual problem. You try to sell the problem. Like a lot of people are dying from riding motorbikes. A lot of kids are now wearing helmets. Blah 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 blah. And you just go like that. The way you present your work is very important.
Dude, this is my fear. Like, I'm so scared of the presentation because I don't know. I feel like I'm not gonna sell the idea. I love my idea, but like I feel like I'm gonna like not sell it properly, and that I'm like expecting too high of myself. You know what I mean? It's like too big, and then I'm like, don't give myself expectations. Like not low, not high. That's what I keep telling myself. But it's like I'm like this close to like telling myself my idea sucks, but it doesn't because I love it. Inshallah khair.
A small trick that I hope can help you. Just focus on marketing the problems that your solution solves. See, for example, let's say that your system solves this, and that, but problems number 1 and 4, you're not sure that they actually do work. So only mention 2 and 3, so that when they challenge you on that, you can be sure of yourself. And being confident plays a big role. If you speak with confidence and you show them that you understand your project and you have basically no business trying to challenge my project, they'll back off, and that can help you a lot. But yeah, that was a
Adar, we're going to have a lot of
bracket
presenting
when it comes to
sessions.
FYP.
Good luck.
So, Ahmed, we've gone through your background, the way you navigated through college, your kind of mental health when it comes to pursuing a degree that you didn't like. So, tell us more about Ahmed as of now, and what are some advices that you could give to people that are listening and that might be going through a similar problem?
Well, I don't have. I cannot share my thoughts with you, but I will talk, in a very simple way about some things that you can keep in mind. That maybe would help you a lot during your degree. One of the things is to ask yourself, like, what is life? Like, what am I doing here? I'm doing this degree because I want to graduate, because I want to work. And as Muslims, we know that it's gonna work no matter what, because Allah is with us. It's gonna work anyway. We just have to go through the hard times. We just have to be patient. We just have to do our best. It's not like only wishing and making prayers and dua that, oh, please God, I want to graduate, please, da 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 da. Now you have to work as well. Do your best, try your best, and be patient. If you're going through the same, if you are going through what I went through, you have to be patient. And it's going to make you stronger, but you have to be patient because it's going to be a long process.
I like that you mentioned keeping Allah in your mind. because there actually are one hadith that comes to my mind and one verse. So the hadith goes as follows. I think you guys all know it. عجبا لأمر المؤمن فإن أمره كله له خير إن أصابته سراء شكر فكان خيرا له وإن أصابته ضراء صبر فكان خيرا له وليس ذلك إلا للمؤمن. So basically the translation is that the affair of the believer is a great one. You know, if something good happens to him, he is grateful and he is good with it. And if something bad happens to him, then he's patient, and that's also something good for him. And the Prophet ﷺ also mentioned at the end, and that's only for the believers. So renewing your iman is very important in that state. And also reminding yourself of the fact that failure is not the end. You're going to be tested. As Allah says in the Quran, وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ. You know, we're going to test you with a lot of things, with a loss in
وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ.
وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ and give glad tidings to the people that are patient. You know, so Allah is going to test you in your money. He's going to test you in the people you love. He's going to test you in your life. So you're going to encounter difficulties. So it's important to keep in mind the fact that just because you've encountered one difficulty, or that things are becoming more skewed or more complicated than you expected them, that's not the end of the world, and that's not the end of the road itself.
Yeah, and we don't have to talk about it only from, you know, the mental health, you know, only about how do you feel better, how do you be happy in this life, you know. And you don't have to be the most religious person in the world, you know, as long as you have Allah in your mind, you know. We all do mistakes, we all are sinners, but we try our best. So please keep Allah in your mind. You know, only the thought that Allah is there, Allah is capable of changing everything for you. He is capable of changing everything. So just trust Allah, do your best, and it's gonna work.
So like, I agree with everyone, and I'd like to add that Amr al-Mu'min, I don't know how exactly it is, but Amr al-Mu'min kullu khair. This is like basically my motto. This is like, whatever happens, I'm like, it's God's plan, so let's continue and see how it ends. And whatever happens because I accept it. And now thinking about it, we're so lucky to be tested, because like, and to know that we're being tested and to be aware of what's happening is amazing. It's another like ni'mah. I don't know. It's like another blessing. Yeah. So I'd like to say alhamdulillah, and
yeah,
so nice.
And also as well, keep in mind that even if you're a sinner, and we're all are sinners, you are still loved. You're still loved by your family, your friends, and you're still loved by the Creator, by Allah. So no matter what you do, no matter what you're going through, you are loved. You're gonna get your rizq. You know, we say rizq in Arabic. You're gonna get everything.
Your provision.
Yeah, you're gonna get everything you need in life. You just have to be patient. You have to trust the process. You have to trust that it's going to be well.
And you have to try. This is important. You have to try.
And you have to try. Yeah, true.
Take risks.
Yeah. I mean, not all the time. You just have to know when. Sometimes
calculated risks.
Yeah.
That's a new term that
never
I recently read about.
Yeah.
Calculated risks.
No, don't calculate.
Not all risks are
just
worth
have faith and jump.
Not even. I mean, even if we think about it, it's not only about Islam. You know, even other religious people. Subhanallah. Somehow, other religious people, you just find them comfortable. You know, you just see them relaxed, happy. You know, comfortable in their life, you know. You don't see them stressed, complaining too much, even if they're not Muslims, you know, because all religious, not all of them, but we have the same ideas, you know, that you just need to trust Allah and you need to try your best.
But we have something more that they don't have, we as Muslims. As Allah said in the Quran, وَتَرْجُونَ مِنَ اللَّهِ مَا لَا يَرْجُونَ, you know. We expect from Allah what they don't expect. So it's true that a lot of them do have that tranquility, but we have it even more because we know that even when we're suffering, we're actually being tested because there's something greater coming up.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't wanna say that we're the most religious people in the world, but we are trying, and just remember the feeling that, let's say you didn't pray for a while, and then one day you said, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna start from today. Just remember the feeling when you enter the mosque. That tranquility, that comfort you feel, that, I don't know, it's a feeling that you cannot describe, it's just beautiful. So this is one of the relationship that you need to focus on, your relationship with Allah. This is one of the relationship. We have other relationships as well. You have your relationship with yourself, which we can talk about. We have the relationship with other people that is very important as well.
So before we end this session, do you guys want to add anything? Ahmed, do you want to add any more statements?
I don't want to act like I'm the smartest guy in the room, but I want to say that you have to do something you love, calculate everything, and try to do something you love, because it will make you feel free. And keep in mind that life is going to work anyway. No matter what you're going through, it's going to work. It will take time.
I have a fun question.
I am, yeah. Does that say anything about the personality?
You're the eldest child. I'm the eldest child. He's the eldest child. Everyone's the eldest child here.
You mean
Child is like the tester, So whatever you do, you're like the what's it called? There's a name for that. When you have a sample and you leave everything that's good behind, and then you just want to test it on this single body to see if things work. So testing mouse, basically. Yeah, so you're basically that. I mean, we're all that, in fact.
It's fine. They did their best. They succeeded. And that's how we're all here.
Yeah, well, okay.
Do your best, and Allah will do the rest.
Yeah, can I add just 2 more points? Can I add?
Sure thing.
Yeah. See, one of the things that I've been doing since I came here, and it actually helped too much, that you try doing charity. You don't have to, pay a lot of money. Just, small money everywhere. Let's say you went to the store, and there's, the small boxes in Malaysia. You can just put the cents, just put it there, and then have the intentions of, may Allah help me in this, just do it everywhere, anywhere. It doesn't have to be too much money. Let's say you're going to play futsal, you're going to your friends, whatever. Just, let's say I'm going to buy a drink. I'm going to buy them a drink, and I'm going to think about this as a charity. I'm going to think about this as, may Allah help me to achieve this or to do this, because I help people. I did that. And second point is you have to think about your life. You have to think about your life every while. Sometimes we just keep running. You just keep running, and you don't focus on what you're doing. You just do it. Next. Sometimes we just need to sit back, relax, and then look at the whole thing. Maybe I should change this. Maybe I should change that. Maybe I'm dealing with it the wrong way. And this thinking process will come when you're comfortable, when you feel free. For example, when we're showering, you just feel free, and you start thinking about your whole life decisions. So try to make time for yourself. Let's say every weekend I'm going to that park that I love. I'm going to spend 2 hours, I'm going to look at people, look at the river or whatever, or anything, and I'm going to think about how my life is going and what I'm doing. So you just need to do that at least every week, so you can sit back and watch what you're doing.
Very interesting insight. In any case, Ahmed, it's been a very, very interesting episode, and I really enjoyed it. I hope the listeners enjoyed it just as you did, Hajar and Maryam. And it was so refreshing, actually, because, time and times again, we forget to speak about topics that actually do matter to most people. And these small topics often come overlooked, and it's important to mention them and to louder the voices on them. And we really wish to have you more in the podcast very soon, inshallah. So the listeners will let us know. And it's been very enjoyable. Yeah, definitely. Inshallah. Thank you so much, Ahmed. To the listeners, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we see you on the next one. Assalamu alaikum.
Bye. Astaghfirullah.